Hey there, Russell traders. David here of TradingFibs.com to bring you the Russell and market recap for July 24th, 2013. As always, please seek financial advisement when trading with your money, as these videos are for educational purposes only, to support your knowledge in the market and see what's going through my head on any given day. Always make sure you have a solid trading plan and never move your stop when placing a trade. Well, there's been a little bit of a rough patch here in the market in the last couple of weeks. Summertime, low volume, and we've had some nice opportunities the last couple of days, today being one of the nicer ones, and it's been a long time. So we can see on our four indices, we see the ESYM up here in the upper right, NASDAQ on the lower left, and the Russell, each of them taking a nice dive under the 25-minute open range. The NASDAQ coming a little bit back up in the range, but again, giving us another opportunity to the downside. Russell really tapping off at the 25-minute open range and then coming down even further to give it just a late day afternoon chop. If we look at the general overall weekly and monthly pivot lines, we could see we actually came down, whether we were holding at the weekly pivot. The NASDAQ really for the day almost coming down almost to the low of yesterday, but taking out two former daily gaps. We wiped out two daily gaps coming up to the weekly pivot on the Russell up here, upper left. Our ES also dropping nice down to the weekly pivot and pulling up, as well as the YM coming down to the weekly pivot, touching on the moving averages, and coming back up to settle around the daily gap from yesterday. So jumping into the four indices, again, nice opportunity on all buying sides to the downside, looking for the right opportunity. And once entering through the underneath the 25-minute open range, we can see that the Russell really tucked under the open range down to the weekly pivot, bounced back up to the 25-minute open range, and coming down even lower for another buying opportunity. Looking at the overall daily pivot numbers, we could see that we started out at the daily R1, coming down to the daily gap and pivot, closing that out, coming down even further. We see on my 30-minute support resistance lines hanging out at S1, coming down to S2, and then chopping it up in between S2 and S3 for the lows of the day. Price action starting all the way up at the CAM H4 and really coming down side hard, and then once price action came under CAM L4, bouncing back up to CAM L3. The better opportunity of the day was probably once price retracted from CAM L3, would not come up, no chop zone in here, and price action just continued further. So really what I had was two opportunities. However, being that the method I use with the Camarilla, and actually let's put up two side by side here. Here we have our 25-minute open range on mode. This is my 534 exponential moving average. Here I have a 513.2180. If I look back here to the market open, somewhere around here, crossover on the EMA. I got a little bit of consolidation here. Truth is, I would not have entered at any point, whether you used my 25-minute range or open not. My method would have been wait till I come underneath the 25-minute open range. And again, right down here, 1045, if I look, here's my weekly pivot at 1045.2, so that would have been my target. Could have put a stop up here at the 25-minute open range low, a little bit above that, and you probably would have stayed in the trade with the exponential moving average. As you could see here, never crossed the line and kept coming down. So looking at both of them side by, or this one on 534 up on top and the 4 EMA down here, as I call it. Crossover up, the earliest entry would have been here right at the market open. As we dove down, you saw on the market internals, nice dive down here with the tick. We're at the pivot line was, I don't even know where my pivot line is here. I don't think I have it drawn on, but my UVAL, DVAL, really the market breadth coming down the remainder of the day, diving down here on the AD line up at a high of 1250, but dropping down throughout the remainder of the day, almost starting at a 3.0 on the tick, on the trend, excuse me. So EMA crossover could have been your first entry. You have a Heikin-Ashi selling signal over here. You have a crossover. I would have waited, even though what I would like to see in sync is an EMA crossover here and EMA crossover here. So that would have been around West Coast time, 6, so at about almost at the opening of the 25-minute open range, just a couple minutes prior. That would have been the first entry. Waiting for the 25-minute open range, price tucks underneath, momentum drive down to the weekly pivot. Could have put a stop a little bit above here of the 25-minute open range, which would have kept you in the trade all the way down for the remainder of the day. What might have taken me out of the trade at this point, and then just waiting for a re-entry, is that my 4 EMA actually crossed over. So the 5 EMA crossed over the 13 and the 21, and then came back down. But I did not have a crossover on the 534, which would have kept me in the trade. The best trade, the best trade for me of the day was waiting for the momentum drive, in which I waited until it was under cam. Let's see where it was, right here on my Camarilla lines, and waiting for the entry once it came down under cam L4 again, and taking the trade entry. So here I have all EMA crossover, nice selling all the way down, solid selling all the way down, and then pretty much a little bit of chop. You could have sat out a little bit this, but once you see this chop, sideways chop, probably would have just gotten out of the market at that point. So again, best move of the day was at the market open, waiting a little bit till maybe 20 minutes after the post-market open. For me, I'm waiting for that 25-minute open range to set up, but I do have a crossover on both charts, which would have kept me in, and a little bit of sideways action here up to the 25-minute open range low, but the best move of the day was right here around post 3 hours of the open. Our other markets, as we saw, also had those opportunities on the exponential moving averages, everything coming underneath. ES topping off at the 25-minute open range. YM coming up a little bit above the 25-minute open range, but again, tucking under with the Russell. NASDAQ coming up a little higher and then coming down again. So on all 4 indices, nice major, I wouldn't say major moves like we've seen in the past, but if we count up the ticks from the open 1055 all the way down to 1040, nice 150 tick drop. My best move would have been from 1046 to about 1040 to 60 tick drive. And again, what's the goal for me? My goal is staying in the trend, and that's 534 together with the 4 EMA. Absolutely, no questions at it. Would have kept me with market internals in the red and all the way down to support. I thought we were going to come down a little further today. Thought we might have come down and tested the S3 level, or maybe come down and test the S3 on the 30-minute. We definitely were under cam edge 4. I was looking for a tap right here of the weekly S1 at 1038. Called that on Twitter. Never got down there, but that's okay. Never crossed back over the weekly pivot. So that concludes today's wrap. Hope you got some money out of that. Feel free to stop by tradingfibs.com or any of my social media outlets to obtain more information. My trading mantra of know one thing and know it well. I typically watch all 4 indices, but I only trade the Russell. Really can't keep my trigger on too many charts. So whether you trade the ES or Apple or Google or any stock of your choice, my plan will always keep you disciplined. You can find me every day on Twitter at Trading Fibs. And as always, I have no idea what's going on tomorrow, so I leave that to the rest of you. I only trade what's in front of me on my charts. Have yourself a great day.